The northern flicker is a medium-sized member of the woodpecker family. It is native to most of North America, parts of Central America, Cuba, the Cayman Islands, and is one of the few woodpecker species that migrate. There are over 100 common names for the northern flicker. Among them are yellowhammer, clape, gaffer, woodpecker, harry-wicket, heigh-ho, wake-up, walk-up, wick-up, yarrup, and gawker bird. Many of these names are attempts at imitating some of its calls. Taxonomy. The northern flicker is part of the genus Colaptes, which encompasses 12 New World woodpeckers. There are 9 recognized subspecies and 1 extinct subspecies of C. auratus. The existing subspecies were at one time considered separate species, but they commonly interbred where ranges overlap and are now considered one species by the American Ornithologists Union. Whether or not they are separate species is a well-known example of the species problem. The yellow-shafted flicker resides in eastern North America. They are yellow under the tail and underwings and have yellow shafts on the primaries. They have a gray cap, a beige face, and a red bar at the nape of the neck. Males have a black mustache. Colaptes comes from the Greek verb kolapt, to peck. Auratus is from the Latin root aurit, meaning gold or golden, and refers to the bird's underwing. Is the state bird of Alabama. It is known by the name yellowhammer, a term that originated during the American Civil War to describe Confederate soldiers from Alabama. The red-shafted flicker resides in western North America. They are red under the tail and underwings and have red shafts on the primaries. They have a beige cap and a gray face. Males have a red mustache. The scientific name, Colaptes auratus caffer, is the result of an error made in 1788 by the German systematist Johann G. Mellin, who believed that its original habitat was in South Africa among the Xhosa people, then known as the Gaffer people. The Guadeloupe flicker extinct c. 1910. Description: adults of brown with black bars on the back and wings. A mid to large-sized woodpecker measures 28 to 36 centimeters in length and 42 to 54 centimeters in wingspan. The body mass can vary from 86 to 167 grams. Among standard scientific measurements, the wing bone measures 12.2 to 17.1 centimeters. The tail measures 7.5 to 11.5 centimeters. The bill measures 2.2 to 4.3 centimeters and the tarsus measures 2.2 to 3.1 centimeters. The largest bodied specimens are from the northern stretches of the species range, such as Alaska, Newfoundland, and Labrador, whereas the smallest specimens come from Grand Cayman Island. A necklace-like black patch occupies the upper breast, while the lower breast and belly are beige with black spots. Males can be identified by a black or red moustachial stripe at the base of the beak. The tail is dark on top, transitioning to a white rump which is conspicuous in flight. The subspecies plumage varies as described in taxonomy section. Call and flight. This bird's call is a sustained laugh, kiki-kiki, more congenial than that of the pileated woodpecker. One may also hear a constant knocking as they often drum on trees or even metal objects to declare territory. Like most woodpeckers, northern flickers drum on objects as a form of communication and territory defense. In such cases, the object is to make as loud a noise as possible, and that's why woodpeckers sometimes drum on metal objects. Like many woodpeckers, its flight is undulating. The repeated cycle of a quick succession of flaps followed by a pause creates an effect comparable to a roller coaster. Behavior. Diet. According to the Audubon Guide, flickers are the only woodpeckers that frequently feed on the ground, probing with the beak, also sometimes catching insects in flight. Although they eat fruits, berries, seeds and nuts, the primary food is insects. Ants alone can make up 45% of their diet. Other invertebrates eaten include flies, butterflies, moths, beetles, and snails. Flickers also eat berries and seeds, especially in winter, including poison oak and ivy, dogwood, sumac, wild cherry and grape, bayberries, hackberries, and elderberries, and sunflower and thistle seeds. Flickers often go after ants underground, hammering at the soil the way other woodpeckers drill into wood. They have been observed breaking into cow patties to eat insects living within. Their tongues can dart out 50 millimeters beyond the end of the bill to snare prey, as well as eating ants. Flickers have a behavior called anting, during which they use the acid from the ants to assist in preening, as it is useful in keeping them free of parasites. Habitat. Flickers may be observed in open habitats near trees, including woodlands, edges, yards, and parks. In the western United States, one can find them in mountain forests all the way up to treeline. Northern flickers generally nest in holes in trees like other woodpeckers. Occasionally, they have been found nesting in old, earthen burrows vacated by belted kingfishers or bank swallows. Both sexes help with nest excavation. The entrance hole is about 7.6 centimeters in diameter, and the cavity is 33 to 41 centimeters deep. The cavity widens at bottom to make room for eggs and the incubating adult. Inside, the cavity is bare except for a bed of wood chips for the eggs and chicks to rest on. Once nestlings are about 17 days old, they begin clinging to the cavity wall rather than lying on the floor. Lifespan. The oldest yet known yellow-shafted northern flicker lived to be at least 9 years 2 months old, and the oldest yet known red-shafted northern flicker lived to be at least 8 years 9 months old. Reproduction. The breeding habitat consists of forested areas across North America and as far south as Central America. They are cavity nesters who typically nest in trees, but they will also use posts and birdhouses if sized and situated appropriately. They prefer to excavate their own home, although they will reuse and repair damaged or abandoned nests. Abandoned flicker nests create habitat for other cavity nesters. Flickers are sometimes driven from nesting sites by another cavity nester, the European starling. It takes about 1 to 2 weeks to build the nest, which is built by both sexes of the mating pairs. The entrance hole is roughly 5 to 10 centimeters wide. A typical clutch consists of 6 to 8 eggs whose shells are pure white with a smooth surface and high gloss. The eggs are the second largest of the North American woodpecker species, exceeded only by the pileated woodpeckers. Incubation is by both sexes for approximately 11 to 12 days. The young are fed by regurgitation and fledge about 25 to 28 days after hatching. Wintering and migration. Northern birds migrate to the southern parts of the range. Southern birds are often permanent residents.